Hi.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which apparently participation has its rewards in the chat. And I come to you live from Crater Valley on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, and all of you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Thursday. I guess it's XP Thursday. For those of you listening at home, a new feature has appeared on YouTube and in the chat, a leaderboard of participation or something. The top 3, I guess, active individuals in the chat gain XP. Actually, everybody gains XP, but those that are the most participatory, I guess, the top 3 get tagged with little crowns showing off how awesome they are. What does this do for you? I don't know. I guess it's bragging rights. I guess it's some kind of competition. I think it's kind of cheesy. This is not something that I implemented. This is not something that I hit a switch and turned on. This is something that YouTube has put upon us. So I guess we'll see how it turns out. If I find out that there's some fringe benefit to it, I guess I'll let you know. But I didn't even get a notice about this. So anyway, this is also Crackle Check. I don't want to have to do this every show, but after the last one, I feel like I have to. Crackle Check, is there any crackling in my audio? If there is, let me know now. If there isn't, great. And then I don't have to worry about restarting my... I am fine sound-wise, says Advocatus Diaboli, king of the #1 XP. Anyway, yes, let's get to who's joining me on this beautiful Thursday evening before I get too lost in the competition here. Keeverdam, hello. And also thank you, Keeverdam, at the top of the chat box, everybody. There are 2 links up there for fundraisers for our friends Twisted Skipster and Angela Arriaga. Okay, so I have a special mission for Angela Arriaga in particular. She is just, was it $120 away from having enough to start the ball rolling on the paperwork for her home-based business. So, if, through a collection of everybody like throwing $2 or $3 her way tonight, that would, I think, cover all the bases. So I'm asking you to help out Angela Arriaga. She's got until the end of the month, which is just tomorrow, to have all the funds necessary just to start the ball rolling. I think she needs like $120 of what she's already collected. So that's my special mission to you. But elsewise, also, Twisted Skipster is raising money for his daughter's wrestling club at her school. So take a look at that one. Even if you can't donate, that's fine. But if you can share both of those out on social media to help out, that would be appreciated. Thank you for that ahead of time. And thank you, Keeverdam, for providing the links. Walter Tomaszewski, good evening. My cats like you, Scribe. Well, I am friend of cats. And as we all know, cats are messengers from the underworld. So, Kay Scholl, good evening. #1 king of the chat so far, Advocatus Diaboli, good evening. The Alexander, hello. Who else is here? Adam Nixon, good evening. Hope you're doing well, Adam. Chicago Mike, good evening. Mike R, hello. Who else is here? Oh, look at Kiro Soldier, thank you so much. Spent most of the day packing up, super tired. Well, take a load off, relax, let your brain just kind of melt, because that's probably what's going to happen over the course of the show, given the topics I have at hand here. So hello, Kiro Soldier. Who else is here? JPS, hello. Attack Alpaca, good evening. Anybody else? The Best Remy, hello. JB, hello. Zero the Hero 909, hello. Found, you have been found. Simon Willikins, hello. Your internet's favorite lunatic, good evening. The Blakester, hello. Anybody else scrolling? Miranda Stone is here. Hey guys, I don't know if you know about Miranda Stone, but if you don't, let me tell you. Anybody else that I'm scrolling? Asan, hello. Robert Pincus, good evening. And Kiro Soldier again, thank you again. Cats can also be demons in disguise. Well, this is true. But, well, I mean, I think cats are mostly heroes. I think they can be misused. I think evil witches can make use of cats in bad ways. Because they're trusting creatures. They're also severely independent. Who knows? I guess they could be. Unferophilia. Hello. Let me get you up on the screen. There you go. And I think that's pissed off Shih Tzu. Sorry, didn't mean to miss you there. Anybody else? I think I got everybody. If I happen to miss you, if you're lurking, if you're in the future, good evening. All right, so tonight, guys, I felt a little bit of nostalgia when I came across this one. It felt like something I would have seen back in, 2018, 2019. But no, it was posted. Admittedly, maybe it was filmed 10 years ago and only now making an appearance, but at least right now. We have calling in white folks to talk about race, because as we all know, the one thing that white people are never, ever asked to talk about, or demanded to talk about, is race. Now, my interest in this talk on the surface is twofold. First was the title, because I had a sort of a spike of nostalgia, but also the setting. Now, generally speaking, I don't pay attention to TEDx youth talks because, as the label says, the speakers more often than not are elementary school kids or high school kids or something. But once in a blue moon, there is an adult that gives a talk at a youth event, and so that's fair game as far as I'm concerned. But in combination with both the topic and the audience you have to presume is there, I'm just curious to see what our speaker has to say and how she goes about saying it to an audience of likely young and impressionable minds. But we'll find out. Holy cats, Derek LaRue! Derek LaRue, thank you so much, Derek, as always. Wow, that's very generous of you. Thank you, Derek. Really appreciate your continued support and generosity. Hope you're having a good evening, and I hope you enjoy the show. Also, Keeverdam, I think this new feature is meant to make me feel even worse about my schedule. I don't know about the value or logic of this. I don't know. There's something about just participation in chat that doesn't feel like it's something that should be a competition. And again, I don't know what the mechanisms here. I think it's just a tag you get and bragging rights. I think that's it, and it will shift over time. And I don't even know how you earn XP. As far as I can tell, you don't earn XP through donations. So don't, if anybody's thinking about, paying to win or something, please don't. But I guess we'll find out. Also, it encourages spamming, unless there's some, safeguard in there. But I guess we'll find out together, because it's as much of a mystery to me as it is to you. Anyway, tonight's bingo card is bingo card A. A as in antique, which was the shade of white that was the winner of today's bingo card poll on the X machine. If you guys would like to participate in the poll each week, as well as follow all of my shenanigans on the X machine, follow me on X at scribe_light. I'm also simulcasting on X. If you happen to have an X account, how many different ways can I say X in this sentence? And if you see the stream posted there on X, you can also share it on X or retweet it or whatever they call it these days. And that might help out the algorithm, maybe. I'm going to try turning the comments on the screen. This is a new feature in beta on StreamYard. I used it last time. If it doesn't interfere too much with the video, not that the video is all that vital to be able to participate in a TEDXcellence, it should be fine. I think it fades out just before the video starts. Okay. Give that a second there and see how it looks. That's fine. All right. All types of new things here today. New widgets, new gadgets. Anyway, one warning, this talk is relatively short. It clocks in at just over 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, depending on how I feel at the end of this, we might have a double feature. I may have prepared a secondary TEDx for tonight's broadcast, just in case. We'll see. Anyway, calling in white folks to talk about race. Get your bingo cards ready. Here we go.
So let's take the advice from our previous speaker and take a deep breath.
Okay. I've taken a deep breath. I have taken a deep pull from my drink. And we are ready to go. You guys hear that okay? Hear it, says Advocatus Diaboli. Hear it loud and clear, says Derek LaRue. Let's find out what she has to say. Again, remember, the audience is, more likely than not, mostly impressionable young minds. Ah.
Now I'd like to invite you to reach your hands out in front of you.
Okay. Oh, wait. If I do that, I can't hit the space bar. Wait, I can use my elbow. Okay.
Stack your palms.
Okay.
Breathe in.
Okay.
And bring your hands to your heart.
Oh my gosh. I'm having a moment. A really emotional moment.
Take another full round of breath.
Is this a talk or a Lamaze class?
Feeling your heartbeat underneath your hands. Certainly feel mine right now.
I know. Credit to all TEDx speakers. I would not do that well on a stage speaking in public. I'd probably have stage fright. So, I always extend a certain level of credit to everyone who ends up on a TEDx stage.
And you can place your hands back in your lap.
I can. Thank you.
I'd like to thank you for taking the time to open your heart today.
Open your heart to me, baby. I'll give you love if you turn the key. Open your... Oh, sorry. A song I haven't thought about in 20 years. I am a jukebox. What can I tell you? Thank you again, Kiro Soldier. Impressionable. In other words, Gen Z morons. What is the generational moniker for kids in elementary and or junior high today? Is that still Gen Z? I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. I keep hearing like Gen Alpha or Gen AI or who knows. Anyway.
As it will help you receive what I have to say.
Oh. Like I'm a radio or something? Okay.
Conversations about race can be challenging.
Yeah.
Especially for white people.
Oh, of course. And that is racist. Okay, so circling white supremacy. On the board, let's remind ourselves what we're listening to. Remember, this is Bingo Card A. Links are in the description. Collectivizes own demographic. Well, she did that just then, too, didn't she? By pointing at herself. Systemic or institutional, we'll probably get there. Sales pitch for product or service, it's possible. Childhood or family anecdote, not yet. Diversity, equity, and or inclusion, it's possible. Plays victim, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Microaggressions or unconscious bias, probably. Privilege, I would be surprised if we don't get there. Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Patriarchy, deceptive statistics, economic disparity, feminism, marginalized or marginalization, a list, remember that has to be a formal list of some kind, word salad, self-vilification or wretchedness, I think we'll get there pretty quick too. Weightless example or non sequitur, attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. I would be amazed. I don't know if there are any new buzzwords or buzz phrases left on this topic, but I'm happy to be surprised. Mind reading or assumes motives? Probably. Benevolent condescension? Possibly. Anecdote that probably never happened. And lastly, leaves out vital context. So already on the board in the first 43 seconds of the talk, we have collectivized his own demographic, free space, and white supremacy. White supremacy might be a bit of a stretch, but I have a feeling it won't be before long. So there you go.
You may have felt some tension when I said the words white people, and that's okay.
Is it? Is it okay? Just the words white people cause people tension? Or did you feel tension and you want to bring everybody in to share in your personal misery?
I have felt that way too.
I know it's a minor one, but at the same time I feel it.
The weight of past and present day racism can make conversations about race feel off limits.
Yeah, tell me about present day racism, a lady who is assessing white people as thinking a particular way, behaving a particular way, incapable of talking about certain things and so on. Okie Native, thank you so much. Money to buy Sydney Sweeney bathwater soap. Oh man, I saw that today and I thought that has to be a hoax. That has to be a hoax. That's some AI-generated nonsense, isn't it? Apparently. And I will be very, very glad if someone can correct me that it, in fact, is a hoax. Apparently, it is a real thing. But lesser logic. Good evening. The Dead Man. Hello. Mumpour40. Yes, I felt tension because I'm about to be struggle session without a chance to respond. Yeah, That's kind of how it works. That is really the only way. Chicago Mike, thank you so much. Does that make the White Album racist? Yes. I'm going to default to yes on that question. I think it's the safest answer to have. Because it's all white. All white now.
And it's easy to avoid these conversations when it seems like the topic doesn't impact you.
I guess. Could you give me an example?
However, I believe these conversations are more important now than ever.
Really? Now than ever? Why?
Imagine a world where white people are actively engaged in building anti-racist communities.
Anti-racist communities. Oh boy. Because as we know, white people are inherently racist, and so such a thing is just fantastical. But also imagine that anti-racism actually means anti-racism. It doesn't mean colorblindness, everybody, because as we know, colorblindness is just another form of racism. No, anti-racism, which assumes that racism is a universal constant. Racism is in everyone and everything and every institution. You cannot be not racist. You can simply be either cognizant of your racism or denying of your racism. And confessing to it, that's the good thing, because it'll never leave you. Imagine a world, guys. Imagine.
Where your friends, family, classmates, and colleagues are collectively committed to liberation.
Collectively committed to liberation. Break them chains. I'm seeing some little red book floating in my mind right now.
Expanding opportunities for everyone and celebrating our differences rather than just tolerating them.
Oh, but at the same time, the burden of this happening falls on white people who are obviously the only ones that can do this and are the only ones incapable elsewise of, starting communities with people who don't look like them. All right.
For this vision to become a reality,
Yes.
white people have a key role to play in eliminating racism.
Oh, we do? Tell me, oh, tell me true.
And that role begins with each of us.
It does? How can I help?
So wherever you are on
Yes.
your journey of understanding, even if it's at the very beginning,
The very beginning. So like at the absolute worst racist you could possibly be. Okay,
there are 3 things you can do to build communities of belonging.
Communities of belonging. Well, also that's a list, so I'm circling a list. Oh my gosh, guys. Communities of belonging. How do we start communities of belonging? When first we say that an entire demographic of people, regardless of their individual actions, beliefs, behaviors, or elsewise, are already suspect because of their skin color, which is obviously not racist in and of itself. When we have that as our starting point, where can we go? Oh, sorry, hit the button.
First,
First.
embrace curiosity.
Okay. Curiosity about what? Because I've been told that asking someone, where is your family from is racist.
Second,
Oh,
listen and act with love.
curiosity and love. Okay. So white people aren't curious and white people don't know how to love. Okay.
And third, practice self-reflection.
White people are self-centered and completely oblivious to their own behaviors, life circumstances, and choices. Okay, gotcha.
My own journey started with recognizing the privilege of my whiteness.
Privilege! Oh boy, guys, for a short TEDx, this is hitting all the marks. Circling privilege on the board.
It took me time to see it. My privilege was a part of my journey where I had to recognize there were differences between opportunities that I got with my black and brown peers.
You know what? There are difference of opportunities that I got between my white peers. I don't know if you know this, I know it might be kind of a strange revelation. Not everyone within the same racial demographic ends up in the same place for the same reasons. If you can believe it, there are people who have been president of the United States in my lifetime who have, at least in the abstract, a similar skin color to me. But I'm not president of the United States. Now, have I been denied some birthright or something? Or have I just made a different series of choices and had a different series of focuses in my life that led me down a different path? Well, I guess I could blame something else for my situation, or I could, rectify myself in comparison to someone else's outcome and then call it a racial disparity, I suppose. I could do that. I guess that make me feel really bad about myself over something I have no control over, and also, feel like I have to pity other people on the basis of something they have no control over. What a life I could have lived by this point.
My understanding of my privilege was gradual, and like for most white people, was delayed by a culture where everyone looked like me.
Yeah, gosh, everyone looks, I don't look like you. I mean, if you're going to lower the bar of similarity just to skin color, then, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of racist.
In 2014, the Black Lives Matter movement and the murder of Michael Brown.
Okay, back the truck up. The murder of Michael Brown. You mean the criminal who attacked a police officer and tried to take the police officer's gun? Right. Anecdote that probably never happened. Yeah, it's not even a probably in that case, but it's enough for me. I'm also going to circle a self-vilification or wretchedness, because obviously her being white, and she had a lot to learn, a lot to apologize for, just because of the color of her skin. Oh boy. Okay, circling that one. And I'm also going to circle marginalization because of the disparate outcomes she talked about between her and her not white peers.
Awakened me to the distinct realities of Black people in the United States.
Really? Okay. I know, I hate to do this. But who was the president of the United States in 2014? Were there any particular, at least at that time, one particular member of the Supreme Court you might want to mention? Or are you generalizing about what it means to be a quote-unquote black person in the United States, unquote?
I got curious.
Did you?
And had to ask myself, why did someone need to die in order for me to wake up to the lived realities of my friends, neighbors, and fellow Americans?
And for those of you listening at home, we suddenly have a mural up of Saint Fleur. Yes, George Fleur is on the wall. Why did it take someone dying for me to wake up? I guess you'll have to explain that one to us.
I listened with love.
Did you, though? Did you listen with love or self-pity or, white savior complex?
To my friends and colleagues who shared their own experiences of everyday racism.
Everyday racism? You want to give us some examples?
Things like being followed in stores by management.
Followed in stores by management.
Enduring racial slurs and receiving poor treatment in healthcare.
Poor treatment in healthcare. I don't know. I get wary about these things.
As I reflected, I recognized I had never felt any of those things.
Really? Really? Wow. So if something doesn't happen to you, then you possess privilege. Is that it? Because I wasn't hit by a bus today, so I must have not being hit by bus privilege until I do get hit by a bus, and then I guess somehow I lost it.
My own awakening required me to be curious, to be open to learning and understanding realities different from my own.
I think it required you to be, to abandon your critical thinking skills, to listen and believe. I don't know if that's curiosity rather than supplication.
So I welcome you all to get curious.
Get curious.
And ask yourself, how does racism impact my life?
Well, it creates TEDx talks like these that I get to critique, where, people make broad generalizations, assessments, and accusations of people on the basis of race, and in particular, in this case, white people. So there you go.
You think about it for a moment, and you're like, I don't really know.
No, I know. It's been a thing for a while now.
That's okay.
Oh.
Activists have been sharing their experiences for centuries through books, film, art, and media. It's essential that we learn from the past to eliminate racism.
Wow, that would be a good idea. So how's this? I know it's a crazy thing. It used to be the case that job opportunities, public spaces, and social services were segregated on the basis of skin color. So maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. I think there was a whole movement in the 60s that was trying to push towards that very kind of thinking. And yet, we have DEI, which elevates race more often than not to a mark in someone's favor. We've had social services outlined specifically for people on the basis of their race right now. And we've even had spaces at public colleges, public parks, lined out specifically for people on the basis of their skin color. It would be nice if we learned from the past, and yet each one of those instances I just referenced, the activists these days would say are good things because they elevate the right kind of skin color and punish the wrong kind of skin color. Can you guess which one is which? And can you guess how much more or less ethical that thinking is now versus the past?
The next step is to listen and act with love.
I feel like this is listen and believe.
Love goes beyond respect.
Love goes beyond respect. Yeah, okay, all right.
It requires that we see and hear people exactly as they are.
Well, maybe.
It requires vulnerability and that we lower our defenses.
Well, yeah. I feel as though I'm being drawn into something. This all sounds very welcoming. This all sounds very reasonable. But sophistry has a way of doing that.
Often, when talking about race, white people can get defensive.
Do you know why that is? Can you act or think or imagine with love for a moment as to why that might be? Could it be that it is often an accusation of wrongdoing without evidence and simply on the basis of your, whatever you call it, membership within a racial demographic? That you are inherently flawed because of your skin color? Can you imagine a scenario where someone gets defensive over being singled out for wrongdoing, not for anything that they've done, but simply for being what they are and an attribute they possess which they have no control over? Could you imagine that far into love? Chicago Mike, thanks so much. Love will keep us. I can't even get the lyrics right. Love will keep us together. Yes, I'm not even trying to sing it. It's not a song I know that well, and I'm gonna screw it up. I'm gonna screw it up, and I'm gonna do a disservice to your generosity. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Those of you in the chat who know that song, right off the bat, you get to be the recipients of that reward. There you go. How's the leaderboard doing? Oh, let's see. All right now we got Advocast Diabli in the lead. Second, Kiever Dam and Neckman Sunny, Dead Man 79. Oh my God, JPS 47 is in the make it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I before I understood what this thing really was, I was like, aha, audience, fight for my love, or something with this leaderboard. Man, I would. I don't know if I had control over this. I wonder if I have like some kind of control over either the icons or the mechanism here. I don't know. What is the point of the leaderboard? Yeah, exactly. Kieverdam. Spam, spam, spam. Spam, 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 spammity spam, spammity spam. Anyway, yes. So white people can get defensive when you confront them with racial accusations. It's true. Tell me more.
When talking about race, white people can get defensive, awkwardly saying things like, well, my family didn't have slaves.
Why is that awkward? Why is that awkward? What? Okay.
Or, I have Latino friends, I can't be racist.
I mean, it would be pretty good evidence to the contrary, wouldn't it? Anything?
Or, my family's Irish, so we know racism.
And is that an incorrect state? Okay, so all three of those things are what? Illegitimate comments in defense of being accused of racism?
We feel the need to be defensive, to prove we're not racist.
Yes, because being accused of racism is a terrible thing to be thought of about you. I don't know if you know this. It has been diluted quite a bit over the last 10 years with its use and its constant redefinition. But still, to be accused of assessing people, to be accused of being so shallow and so hateful as to be vilify people on the basis of their race alone, to conjure images of the Ku Klux Klan or the German socialists of World War II. I don't even know if YouTube lets me say the word anyway. Either way, do you know why people react so strongly to that accusation? Because it says something about someone's character. It marks them as a villain. An inescapable villain. So of course, people are going to be defensive when you accuse them of being something or thinking a particular way that has no moral escape. But apparently, you either don't know that, don't want to accept that, or you're just so self-hating that it doesn't even occur to you. Okay.
Before we listen to any feedback at all.
Feedback? What feedback is there? That's not a conversation. That is a condemnation. Where is there to go from there? You're obviously a racist. You obviously benefit from white privilege because you're white. Well, that's not an exchange. That's a lecture. That's a sentence. The gavel falls, and you are sentenced. What feedback? Oh, I get to have more? I get more feedback after that? Oh. What do I benefit from after that quote-unquote conversation?
So let's take a step back.
Oh, okay, by all means, it's some kind of exercise.
Imagine you're learning a new skill,
Mm-hmm.
and someone comes to you and offers you support so you could improve.
Okay.
You wouldn't shoo them away saying you already know everything. No.
Well, I wouldn't. Is the new skill not being racist?
You would listen to their feedback, implement it so you could improve, both for you and for them.
Well, here's the thing, and this is a terrible, terrible, horrible analogy. You're comparing a new skill with don't be racist, you obviously racist white person. You're having someone come in who has already assessed you as deficient in your moral and ethical functioning because of your skin color. And so they're going to educate you on how to not to be inherently racist and terrible. You wouldn't shoo that person away. Oh, no. You know, being the victim of a racist witch hunt, obviously what you should do is listen to the Witchfinder General and take their advice to become a better person like them. You know, the person who says that racism is bad, but is condemning you without question on the basis of your own skin color. Right? There's a lot I can learn from such a person.
Because they took the time to help you.
They took the time to help me? Oh. Yeah, I don't require that help, thank you.
It's the same with race.
It's not.
We must listen to feedback to dismantle racist systems, all guided by love.
That's not love. That's not love. Also, circling systemic or institutional on the board. Oh, man. Remember, now I can't see the audience in this one. They don't, as far as I know, I haven't watched the thing. They usually don't turn the camera on the audience. Sometimes they do, but more likely than not, we have an entire audience of elementary or high school students. Oy.
The third step is to practice thoughtful self-reflection.
Oh, thoughtful self-reflection? Okay, I only practice cursory self-reflection.
You can ask yourself, how does racism make me feel?
How does racism make me feel? Unhappy. Put it that way.
What can I do about it?
I can be the change I want to see. And I can, call out people trying to leverage guilt and suspicion and hatred in a weird mirror universe version of anti-racism. That's about all I can do, really.
And who can I talk to help me process these feelings?
Well, I think just talking out loud helps a lot. Getting my thoughts out, sort of workshopping them as I go. I don't know. Who can I talk to? Who would you suggest I talk to?
This self-reflection is crucial for growth.
Okay.
However, this can be where white people get stuck in guilt.
Oh, right. Because they're white.
Guilt is a powerful emotion that can sink your ship before you even get in.
Wait a sec. Guilt is your main lever, though. I mean, you started out this entire talk categorizing people on the basis of their race as already being deficient. They have a hard time talking about race, those white people. White people have a hard time confronting racism. White people are automatically defensive in conversations about race. Guilt and the implication of guilt is your greatest weapon. Huh, okay. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. Will dismantle your personality with love. Cults, yeah. Yeah, this terrible thing I'm doing to you, this way in which I'm telling you how awful you are, and that I will build you back up again in the vision of the movement, that's out of love, guys. It's for your own good. You are a broken person. We will fix you. Now, off here in the fields, you just have to work in the farm here, and later on we'll take a little meeting at the pavilion and talk about how we're all going to move to Russia. Oh, and by the way, here's the flavor aid. Just take your dose. And you notice I said flavor aid because I am historically accurate.
To take your anti-racist journey.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit because I wanted to cut her off.
that can sink your ship before you even get in to take your anti-racist journey.
All right, how do I avoid the guilt of the mystic chords of memory of my melanin count?
So I urge you,
Yes.
don't let guilt and thoughts about the past paralyze you.
But thoughts about the past are the only thing that's going to drive me towards reform, because I have to accept the fact that I am complicit in a country that was built on racism. And even if I didn't have any connection, familially or otherwise, to slave ownership or anything else like the KKK or else, I still have white privilege because all of that terribleness built up the foundations on which I thrive today. So if I'm not operating on guilt over simply the basis of what I have for skin color, what do I have left to drive me towards change? Huh?
Use your emotions
Oh.
to return to curiosity and acts of love. And use self-reflection to figure out why you want to eliminate racism and how it will impact our world.
Okay, so get stuck in a constant circle of self-doubt, second-guessing, reevaluation, self-doubt, second-guessing, reevaluation. You know, if I'm constantly walking in a circle, I'm really not making much progress.
Lila Watson and other Aboriginal rights activists have said, if you have come here to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together.
I don't know who that is. Our liberation. That quote out of context, I got a feeling it refers to something completely more interesting than what she's trying to use it for here. I got a feeling.
This prompts us to acknowledge that our well-being is interconnected, that my freedom is tied to yours.
Yes. I mean, your rights are my rights. Uh-huh.
And that all people, but especially white people, must engage to build the communities we want.
Especially white people. So anybody else who isn't white doesn't have that same responsibility. Okay. I'm learning something, I guess. I can't expect people who aren't white to do anything to improve the world. I have to expect white people to do it because no one else will or can. Is that the message you're trying to get across? It sounds a little racist.
The communities we want. So I believe in a world where conversations about race aren't awkward, scary, or divisive.
That must be some kind of weird planet you live on.
They're honest.
Are they, though? Has your talk been honest so far?
Kind.
Has this been kind?
Generative and healing.
Generative and healing. Well, I can feel my wounds scabbing over as I sit here.
I'm not a perfect communicator. And you don't need to be perfect either.
Oh, I appreciate your permission to be flawed. Oh, wait, I already am. I'm white.
But I believe that our collective.
Collective. I think it's the second or third time she said that, collective. I always get a little wary when somebody starts spouting off about the collective.
Communicator, and you don't need to be perfect either. But I believe that our collective curiosity, love, and introspection will help us build the anti-racist communities where we all thrive.
Curiosity, love, and introspection, or in other words, fealty.
We're not fighting each other.
I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to.
We're building something beautiful together.
No, you're decidedly not.
A place where every person's story matters.
Unless you're white, because you're lesser, because you're inherently flawed, and you have a lot to apologize for because you're white.
Where we celebrate our differences.
Really? Celebrate our differences? You seem to be vilifying at least one difference between a lot of people.
And where belonging is a lived experience for everyone.
Everyone? I don't mean to be a broken record, but you really you've really made it plain that there's a whole swath of people that just will never be quite good enough.
To all of you in the audience today, but especially the white people.
Every single time she says that. Every single time. Good gravy. Are you talking about like social segregation?
What? What is that? What the fuck is that?
I mean, you know, fool me once, fool me twice. There you go. I just... If you have to caveat everything with everyone, especially white people, I don't know if you're elevating or denigrating, but either way, you're singling out people on the basis of their race for special consideration. Everyone. Anti-racist.
Please keep your hearts open.
Yeah, because obviously white people have closed hearts made of stone.
Because I need you to help us build this beautiful world where we all belong. Will you join me?
No. Woo! Oh boy, are you excited? I know I'm excited. I can't tell you how excited I am to live in a world of encouraged racial divide. I don't know what to tell you. It's great. All right, well, there we go. That was the TEDx. This is the card as I have it right now. I'm going to go over it one more time by myself. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them. I will get to you momentarily. Sales pitch for product or service. She never brought up a book or a class or a program or anything. Childhood or family anecdote. She talked about her white her white peers and black and brown peers. I think she was talking about in college? Was that a childhood anecdote? I can't remember. I know she brought that up. I think that's as close as she got to one. You guys will have to remind me. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Did she say... I know she said belonging. And belonging has been a, you know, relatively consistent addition to the DEI litany over the last several years, but... I might need an argument for that one. Plays victim. See, now here's the reason that I'm hesitating to say plays victim, because self-wretchedness, certainly, but plays the victim would sort of be a counter to her saying that she has privilege. You know what I mean? So I need a good argument for plays victim. Microaggressions or unconscious bias. Yes. Well, she talked about everyday racism and stuff. She did mention that, and so I'm going to circle that on that basis. Contradicts own point or fails to make argument. Did I feel like I wanted to join her in her journey of making a perfect world of white guilt and terribleness? No. So I think she failed to make her argument there. Patriarchy. She never brought up gender. Yeah, so not really. Deceptive statistics. She never gave us any statistics. Economic disparity. Again, she talked about outcomes, but she never got specific. I don't think she ever talked about money, as far as I can tell. Feminism, again, not so much. Word salad. She said things that were very repetitive in places. I don't know that it qualifies as word salad. Weightless example or non sequitur. I'm leaning towards that quote she gave because it felt like it was very much out of context. But again, here's my secret plan here. See, by leaving some of these squares uncircled because I'm not sure. On the one hand, I am not sure, and on the other hand, it'll cause you guys to have to say more in the chat, and that builds up the XP score, and somehow that's going to benefit the channel, maybe? I don't know. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase. No, she didn't come up with anything new, and her list was cobbled together of things that I've heard before. Mind reading or assumes motives. Yes, certainly. All white people do this. The white people in a room need to do that. Obviously, it's difficult for white people, etc., etc. Benevolent condescension. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Everyone in the room, especially white people, need to hear this message. And leaves out vital context. Leaves out vital context. For the sake of her argument, she needed to... I don't know. And it's also a bingo square. And it also might lead to a Colleen Bernier special, so... Yeah, we need some suspense. We need some action here. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. If I've missed your argument, please just repost it. I am not actively attempting to ignore you. Let's see. BML 006. I mean, it's not 007. Of course, 006 was pretty cool, too. Sean Bean. Exactly. Isn't it funny that the most racist people you'll generally find call themselves anti-racist? Well, anti-racism requires you to be racist in the first place. Anti-racism presupposes that everyone and everything is already racist. And there's only two states of being, because there's no way to be not racist. You're either racist or anti-racist, right? Racism, or people that are racist but say they're not, is denial. Anti-racism is confession. And that's not me talking. That's exactly how it was defined by Ibram X. Kendi on a previous TEDx presentation. So I heard it from the horse's mouth as to how I'm supposed to assess anti-racism. Anti-racism is confession. Confession of inherent original sin. Daryl Odell, stop manipulating us into speaking, Scribe. I'm not at all manipulating you into speaking. I'm manipulating you into typing. Gotcha. Frosted Glass, weightless example, Michael Brown, since he wasn't murdered or the victim of racism. Okay, I already circled that for anecdote that probably didn't happen. I'm hesitant to double dip unless I absolutely have to. So you're not wrong, but if someone has another argument other than Michael Brown, because I already circled for Michael Brown. So if nothing else comes up, I'll give it, but I want to encourage people to try to find an alternative. Abdicatus, plays victim. She did admit she feels tension and unease when people talk about race, which means even if she won't admit it, she sees herself as a victim. I'm still not sure that isn't an expression of self-vilification and wretchedness, though. See, I don't know if that... See, I know it's a fine line to walk here. I understand that. And I get where you're coming from. But in this instance, we know for a fact that she already vilifies herself on the basis of her race. She said so in so many words. And since we have that as a basis for anything else she might say about herself, I don't know that then that crosses over into her playing a victim. She might actually believe it. See, playing victim means something slightly deceptive about someone's intent in saying something about their situation. I don't know that she's playing. I'm willing to take her at her word that she actually believes this. Am I getting too cerebral about this? Maybe I am. If you want to come at me with a refined argument or counterpoint me, by all means. Abdicast again, it leaves out vital context. Love and curiosity are not exactly very specific things, so not likely to solve anything. You know what? I'll give that one to you, because when she kept talking about love, I kept waiting for okay, well, how does this love express itself? Because she set up by saying, love requires us to be vulnerable. Love requires us to do something beyond respect. And so when I approach you with love and then I tell you that you're racist, I'll give you that. It was a bit too abstract. And she didn't really give us any concrete steps as to what to do to make this world a better place. Anyway, with that, we end up with what has been coined by me, the Colleen Bernier special. In other words, a bingo.
What? Bingo! Yeah!
Of course! Of course!
That's our first bingo. Might not be the last. It's all up to you. It's all to you. Let's see. JB, I spent all stream trying to build a road, and I just finished it. Roadcraft is sweet. Well, entertainment is where you find it. Mumpor40. You should reach out to Benjamin Boyce. He would probably love to interview. I've been in contact with Benjamin several times in the past. At one point, I was almost scheduled to be on one of his conversations. This is a long time ago now. I think that was during the... Now that I think about it, it's probably back during the pandemic. But no, I've communicated with Benjamin Boyce before. I feel a little cagey about soliciting someone to be interviewed. Like, I mean, if Benjamin Boyce wants to interview me, that'd be great. But I don't... if he asks me, great. I'd love to talk to him. Although I'm a little intimidated by him because he's far and beyond much more an academic and intellectual than I am. And you know, when I was at the time that it might have been the case that I would have been on a conversation, and with any instance where somebody interviews me about anything, I always think to myself, do I have anything to offer here that I'm not going to be outdone? Because I'm self-conscious. Let's see. Advocatus. For the context thing, I mean, love and curiosity aren't exactly tangible things one can do. It's true, yes. Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah, she made a big deal out of her 3 steps, and then she used abstractions. Let's see. Derek LaRue, all she is doing is building hate for white people villain. Well, not only hate for white people, but as well making anyone who isn't white someone that should be pitied. Because they obviously are disadvantaged. They need help. I mean, white people have the flaw of being white, and anyone who isn't white has the disability of not being white. It's insane. It's completely bass-ackwards, as it has always been. Let's see. Anything else? Okay, so... Any other arguments for squares to be circled, guys? I'll give another minute here. Now, we're only an hour into the show. It usually goes an hour and a half. Yeah, 90 minutes is usually a nice spot for things. It should be the sweet spot for most movies these days, but unfortunately they go like 2.5, 3 hours or something. So, what do you say? Should I do a double feature here? Should I follow up with another TEDx? Another short TEDx, relatively short. Yeah, it's 10 minutes. Should I do another TEDx? You guys let me know. You feel up to it? What's the leaderboard say right now? In first place, it's Keeverdam with 175 XP. In second place is Advocatus Diaboli with 150 XP. And in third place, Mike R with 100 XP. The Deadman 79 is trailing at 75 XP, and so is just about everybody else on the list except for... Kiro Soldier, Angelverse, Ostzan, you're all at 50 XP. And everybody else, you're at 25 XP. Oh my gosh. Hey! Hi! Get my Bob Euchre voice going. I'm not home yet, so entertain me for another half hour, says Found. Well, hell, if... Uh-oh. Daryl Odell says, nah, we're good. Uh-oh. Kiro Soldier says, yes. JB says, do it. Double feature, says Angelverse. Sure, says Keeverdam. Do it, says Advocatus Diaboli. Yeah, let's do it, says Zero the Hero. Okay. Well, tell you what, Daryl Odell. You can come back later when your tolerances for this kind of nonsense have lowered and you can take in another half hour or so. Holy cats, Derek LaRue! Again, Derek, holy cow, thank you. Twice tonight. So generous. Appreciate it very much. Thanks. Let's see. Scribe, who is in last place so we can mock them? Well, I mean, last place is kind of amorphous because last place is just 25 XP. And there's a whole bunch of people who are at 25 XP. But in 40th place, according to the leaderboard, I think you guys can see this too. I don't know. Up at the top of your chat box. It looks like Roan Harushin is in the last place. Uh-oh. Roan Harushin, how dare you? You need to pick up your game there. Hey, Andy Masterson's in the chat, everybody. Andy, the Toy Master Masterson. If you guys don't know about Andy Masterson, look him up on the YouTubes. He makes custom action figures. He's also a regular on the Doomcock Show. He knows tons and tons about comic books, more so than I know. I've had him on a couple of times. Friend of the show. Hey, speaking of friend. Oh, I already did. Okay, I wasn't sure if I gave him a wrench. I don't keep track of these things. Wrenches don't mean much to me. I've never seen wrenches as like a status symbol. Some people do. I don't. I generally give them out as like a recognition of someone who's been around for a long time. You know, someone who I've never had any trouble with in the chat. If you don't have a wrench and you've been a good actor this entire time, don't take it personally. It's nothing that I pass out as like a reward. And I'm not stingy on moderators. But then there's rarely anything to moderate, so it doesn't mean much. But let's see. Daryl Odell, I have no idea how to get more XP. I'm stuck. I don't even know what the rules are. This just popped up today. I have no idea. I have no advice to give on how to gain more XP. But I do have an idea, unfortunately, of our next TEDx. As I get everything, there we go. Okay, so double feature. I'm going to change the color of the circle on the board to keep track of a different card. Here we go, guys. What was this one called again? I have to remind myself because counting to inclusion, how women can win with AI. That's a lot of words. And just as a note, these days, unless it's something that really, really catches my eye, I stay away from talks dealing with AI. If you go on TEDx on any particular day where they dump a new batch of videos, at least a third of them are going to be dealing with or mentioning AI in their title somewhere. It's getting ridiculous. We already talked about once how AI will save the cocoa bean industry, or AI will do this. It really reminds me of the metaverse, when the metaverse was a thing for about 10 minutes a couple of years ago. Everybody was talking about the metaverse. Every other TEDx talk was about how the metaverse was going to change fashion and change the economy and change this, that. You don't hear about that anymore, do you? I think AI is decidedly different because it's having an actual impact on things. At the same time, there's so much speculation and so much assurance as to what it will or will not do that I don't take it all that seriously. But either way, I was looking for a short TEDx that was decidedly different than the topic I had previously, and that's where we are. So anyway, let's find out.
I did something I've done countless times in my career.
Okay, did you get up in the morning and go to work? I've done that countless times in my career.
I counted, and it started when I walked into my first engineering class.
I thought we just cut to a different TEDx talk. Like, wait, what? Okay, I counted. You mean you counted like you were relevant to the circumstance? Like I matter, that kind of thing? You counted.
Over 15 years ago, I counted then.
Well, I mean, sure, if you went into a class, you counted because you were going to learn something. You mattered.
10 women, myself included, in a room of 60.
Oh, I was fooled. I didn't have context. You counted. Oh, not that you mattered. You literally counted. Let me back up because I did cut her off. That was my bad.
Over 15 years ago, I counted then. 10 women, myself included, in a room of 60.
Okay, so a room of 60, 10 women. I was told there would be no math. I don't know what the percentage is. What was the class about? I'd say it was an engineering class. Sorry, I don't mean to keep rewinding, but...
I counted, and it started when I walked into my first engineering class.
Okay, all right. So you walked into an engineering class, and out of 60 students, there were only 10 women. Okay. So now, I assume, and I'm happy to be corrected, because you know what happens when you assume. I assume that this is the result of sexism. Not personal choice, not personal preference, not a... on average, certain subjects attract one demographic versus the other on the gender binary, but obviously something insidious was taking place, correct?
Over 15 years ago, I counted then. 10 women, myself included, in a room of 60.
But you were allowed in the room, right?
Many years later, I was leading an AI product group.
An AI product group. Okay. And since I missed so many details the first time, I hope you'll apologize. Hope you'll forgive me for making more pauses to make sure I absorb this information.
I found myself still counting.
You know, maybe that's a habit you should break, because it sounds like a you thing.
7 women on a 40-person team.
And what conclusion did you draw from this?
In a customer deal room. 3 women of 20.
Uh-huh.
I kept counting and I kept counting.
Okay, now, I wish to all that exists I had a count stinger from Sesame Street, because that would have been perfect. But I don't. But you've already imagined it.
Because the numbers never added up.
What do you mean the numbers never added up? Why?
Yet, I never stopped believing that it could.
How do you propose to fix this problem? By what mechanism would you solve for the results of personal choice and interest? By all means.
Many years ago, I launched an AI community that started with just 15 of us.
Wow. They're all women. Were men not allowed in this video call?
Learning AI together. And that snowballed into an AI learning curriculum that's touched tens of thousands of learners around the world.
Learners? What? Okay. I need somebody to explain this to me. This is like the second time in the last week that we've come across this. And it's not the first time that I've come across it either, but it just, for some reason, it's standing out this week. Why learners and not students? What's with this lingo? Is there some hidden meaning behind this? I mean, when someone says, I have 17 learners, I think Padawan learner. I think of something from Star Wars. But why is the term learner being used so often these days in educational contexts rather than student?
Back then, our mission was simple: to bring more women in AI jobs.
So you had a completely sexist goal. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm going to circle feminism on the board because, at least by extension, that's where we're headed here. And also circling free space. Let's see. Plays victim because of all the counting and she's all alone. Not enough people around her that look like her, so on.
Fast forward to today.
Oh, also sales pitch for product or service. Of course, AI. Yeah, that's good too. Okay.
And generative AI is not just automating repetitive tasks.
Isn't it?
It is rewriting every job description on the planet.
Wow. Is it rewriting every job description on the planet to be gender neutral? Because prior to this, no one could take a job if someone used the wrong pronoun on a job description?
From teacher or lawyer to farmer or fashion designer.
Yes, because as we know, the fashion design industry has been completely locked out from any women becoming involved for generations.
AI today is like electricity in 1882.
There's a frightening thought.
It's flowing through everything and it's powering an entirely new way of work. Yet, amidst all this transformation, there's a blind spot.
Oh.
Let's look at the current leaderboard.
Uh-oh, leaderboard. Yeah, let's look at the current leaderboard. Who's in the lead right now? Well, at the top of the chain, we got Advocatus Diabli at number 1 with 225 XP. We got number 2, Keeverdam with 175 XP. And Mike R is still in number 3 at 150 XP. Close behind is You're Ridiculous Lunatic at 150 XP. Zero the Hero 909, Pixel Minute Games, or Derek LaRue, Miranda Stone, Keishel, Kiro Soldier, then JPS 47, and then JB, and down we go. Okay.
Women make up about half of the labor force.
What? Women make up about half of the... You mean the other gender, compared to men, make up 50% of the population abouts? Wow.
Yet, they're only a quarter of the global AI workforce.
Oh my gosh. And what are we to derive from that piece of information?
And when you look at research roles, think deep learning research, model architectures, and so on, this number falls below 1 in 5.
Oh my gosh. And so what is that telling you?
And it gets worse.
Does it? Why is that a reflection of something bad happening? I'm going to circle deceptive statistics. There we go. Why is that a reflection of something bad? Why does there need to be more women in the AI global workforce? Are you going to compare that to, I don't know, nursing jobs or elementary school teaching jobs and make a similar comparison and call it a problem? I'm just asking.
In study after study, there's been 18 plus studies that came out in the last year or so across 140,000 people.
Please tell me that one of these studies was McKinsey.
Around the world, in different countries from the US to Sweden to India and Australia.
Wait a second. Source, 18 plus students involving 140,000 plus participants. Harvard! Uh-oh, guys. Harvard did this. Harvard, currently on the ropes with the Trump administration for years and years and years of violating civil rights laws.
Across all these different segments, they found that women are using Gen AI 10 to 40% less than men.
Oh my gosh. How can we get more people to use the kinds of products that I'm personally financially entwined with on a sexist basis? Is that where this is going?
I'm talking different occupations, from postdocs to business owners. Across each of those segments, there was a large, considerable, and meaningful gap in how the different genders were using Gen AI.
So you mean to tell me that, as a general statement, as an average, that men are more attracted to and likely to be using technology than women? Saints, preserve us.
And if you think about the fields that AI is disrupting first, like healthcare or education or HR and communications, these are fields where women have had traditionally really strong positions.
Oh, AI comes to prominence. Women most affected, is that it?
There's 57% women in these roles. So if you think about it, the very groups that AI is disrupting first are using it the least.
Okay, and the source of this is the World Economic Forum. Okay, so all right. Boy, reliable sources here. Okay. All right, well, for the sake of argument, I'll stipulate. The jobs that are populated primarily by women are the first to be impacted by generative AI, so that their jobs will be automated and thus they'll be made obsolete by AI first. Okay. What is your proposal to solve for this problem? Because if you're getting women involved in AI jobs, won't AI jobs eventually be eliminated by AI itself? Aren't you getting women to feed into their own irrelevancy in some way by getting women into AI jobs? I mean, your little Zoom meeting team, let's say all those people on that Zoom meeting are now in AI, aren't they working towards the elimination of jobs for women? Or did I misunderstand something?
And when we dig into why this is happening, there's three patterns that emerge.
Personal interest and choices?
The first is the confidence cliff.
The confidence cliff. I haven't heard that one before. This might be a new buzzword buzz phrase.
Women consistently report lower familiarity and lower knowledge when it comes to using Gen AI tools.
Okay. Again, just being general here. On average, technology, engineering, gadgets and tools and things, usually, not always, not all, hashtag not all, but usually more geared towards men than women, okay?
They're less confident than men on their expertise and knowing how to use them effectively.
Okay, well, again, that's a self-confidence problem, and thus the resolution is one of self-improvement, so the operative word there is self.
Many even feel like they have to go through formal learning before getting the access to start using it.
I mean, it would help. I think I should probably get some formal classes, education, formal learning. Anyway.
Second is the fear of backlash. This is where women have a perceived fear of being judged harshly for using Gen AI.
Well, I mean, it depends in what context they're using it. If they use it to write their entire college dissertation or something, anyone would receive some backlash if they were caught doing that. But I context matters here. What do you mean?
In the workplace, this could mean something like, is my manager going to think I'm cutting corners if I use Gen AI?
Well, you are. And it doesn't matter whether you're a male or female. If you're using AI to do something that you could do yourself, you are cutting corners. It's not. It all depends on the context. It's not necessarily a mark in your disfavor on an ethical level. Inherently, it all depends on the context. But yes, if you use generative AI to write your report for you, rather than you doing it yourself, if you're relying on generative AI to do research for you, rather than doing it yourself, you are cutting corners. It's not a question. It's not a mystery. Also, Keeverdam says list. You're correct. It is a list. I will circle a list on the card. All right. I'm hoping at some point on StreamYard I have the option to display a separate tab on here as its own little window. I have dreamed forever to be able to have the bingo card displayed live on here so everybody can follow along. I don't have that ability, unfortunately. If I was using some other software or something, I'd probably be able to do it. But, what can I say? Maybe someday AI will do it for me. We can only hope.
Or in school, this could mean something like the use of Gen AI feeling like it's cheating.
It is cheating. It is. If you're not doing your own work. Look, whether I'm copying off of someone else's paper or I'm having a computer write a complicated paper for me, it's cheating. It's not doing my own work. AI should be banned from classrooms and educational spaces. It really should be. I'm gonna set my foot down on this one, personally. AI should have no place in the educational process because all it does is dumb people down. It gives people an easy way out from improving their own knowledge and skills. There are arguments to be made about the use of AI in a whole bunch of other places, but when it comes down to basic foundational education, AI should be off limits. I'm sure there are arguments for nuances, etc. I feel like I don't want to even entertain the possibility, but that's just me.
or plagiarism.
It is plagiarism. It where does AI pull its information from? Sources other than the initiator of the process. It is plagiarism. In small or large part.
Third is the skepticism of impact.
Yeah.
Surveys show that on questions like, will AI positively impact you and help you advance your career? Or do you think that AI will have a positive effect on your country? Women consistently report lower optimism levels than men.
Well, of course they should. You just told us that AI was going to destroy all of their jobs. 50% of the jobs that are going to be affected by AI are held by women. Why shouldn't they be skeptical?
And they report higher concerns on the risks and biases associated with AI.
Wow, women are just inherently paranoid, sounds like. What shall we do?
So they're much more focused on the downsides and less on the upside.
You just told... You just spent part of your talk warning against the dangers to women's careers based on AI.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Right?
You're encouraging women to join an industry you are already a part of, that will inherently destroy their career opportunities outside of AI. And you're complaining that women are too scared of the...
Compared to men. I also want to highlight what's not the problem here.
Okay.
Access.
Access.
In a controlled trial of more than 17,000 people,
17,000, that's a big number.
male and female entrepreneurs, they gave all of them access to ChatGPT and access to education and training around it.
Okay. What was it, an even split in the 17,000 or... Okay, anyway.
And even when the access to using Gen AI tools and the knowledge was equalized,
Yes.
women still used Gen AI 13% less than men.
Okay, so it's not a matter of sexism. It's a matter of personal choice. What? Okay. Again, you've cited the problem. In a summary sense, women are hesitant to engage with AI. All right, I'll accept it. Stipulated, benefit of the doubt. Fine. You're almost halfway through your presentation. This is the point at which you need to move on to proposing solutions to this problem. So, okay, you've set it up. Now take us towards a resolution.
And this gender gap persisted. This gap matters for several reasons.
Otherwise, you'd have nothing to complain about. You'd have no initiative or movement to get women into AI and make a business out of it. Oh.
First, women's careers. We all know that productivity is the new performance metric.
Productivity is the new performance Good, great. Did history start yesterday? Guys, did you know that productivity in your job is a brand new metric? They just invented it yesterday. You know, it's just as new as the XP ranking in the chat. Who's in number one place? Number one place right now is Advocatus Diaboli. Number two is Keeverdam. And number three is Mike R. They're still holding on to their spots on the leaderboard. Will anybody take over in the top three? Try harder, chat. Advocatus Diaboli, pardon me. I was looking at Advocatus's name as I clicked on the thing. That's my bad. Frosted Glass, thank you so much. Women should like AI. Looking at you, Sarah Connor. Yeah, I know. Do you know how insignificant Sarah Connor would be without AI? AI made Sarah Connor into the legend that she is today. Yeah, she needs to thank Skynet. Skynet made her matter. That's how that works. Thank you, Frosted Glass.
A 20-something% usage gap today can easily translate into a pay and promotion and leadership gap tomorrow.
Oh, a pay gap? Well, that sounds like economic disparity, circling that one on the board.
Also, we need women to be using AI, to be building AI tools, to make sure that these systems and models are built with consideration for biases.
Because obviously women can't have biases themselves, and two different women couldn't possibly have different biases, because only men could inject biases into AI, and only men have one set of biases. Okay. Yeah, collectivize his own demographic, circling that one. And I'm also circling marginalization, because that is the overall message of this when it comes to women's involvement in AI. And even though you can't see it, I got news for you. With that square being circled...
Won't somebody please?
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O.
Okay!
Right?
And, number 3 on the leaderboard, Mike R. points out, that also involves mind reading or assumes motive, so circle on that one. And, there's a couple others there I might circle, but we'll wait on that. Moving back.
Because without their intervention, the AI tools that we're developing will continue percolating the same biases and stereotypes we've had for years.
Why? You're involved. I mean, just write some new code to eliminate biases in AI, because obviously women have none and can cure us all of biases, so what's to fear?
But the best way to predict the future
Is with a crystal ball.
is to co-create it.
To co-create it. Do tell.
Now, in order to address the solution, we need everyone from corporations to academia to even public sector to be involved.
Yeah, because corporations, academia, and the public sector are not currently involved in AI development. As we know, also, guys, did you know that productivity is the new metric for success? Yeah.
But today,
Yeah.
I want to focus on what all of us as individuals can do.
All of us as individuals. Collective action as unique participants. Okay. I seem to be having flashbacks to the previous TEDx.
Everything worth remembering needs an acronym.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Attempt to coin new buzzword or buzz phrase, circling that square, and with that one...
Bingo. What?
Of course!
We have our second bingo already. Holy cow.
So I want you to remember that the goal is to win
Oh boy, Charlie Sheen is our mascot.
with AI. First, it starts with weaving AI into your life.
Sounds insidious.
Start small. Do a simple time audit of all the tasks you're doing in your daily life.
All the tasks I'm doing in my daily life. Okay.
This will help you identify tasks that you're doing multiple times, or you're spending too much time on, or even tasks that are soul-sucking for you.
Soul-sucking.
The goal is to pick one, just one, and start using AI to help you with that.
Okay, well, I will confess. I have used AI, Grok specifically, to make meme jokes. Not always. More often than not, I am using my own abilities with graphic programs and Photoshop and stuff to make, movie poster edits or other things on the fly. I try not to use it too much, but occasionally it's like, maybe I need a new moon landscape for an overlay on my TEDXcellence show. And so maybe I'll use it for that. Or maybe there's something that I'm imagining that I'd like to see what the AI will do with the idea, just to see what comes out, that kind of thing. But more often than not, if I use it at all in any way that goes public, it's just some kind of joke, like making a Mexican Iron Man wear a bear outfit. Or actually, you know what has happened a couple times? I've used Grok to create an element in AI that I then use in a larger Photoshop project just to make things fit. Like what? And I keep coming to Mexican Iron Man because the times where I've used AI for anything was I need to have an Iron Man suit wearing a sombrero, and it's really hard to kind of make that look right in Photoshop with my skill level. So I'll say draw Iron Man wearing a sombrero against a dark background or something, and then I'll take that Iron Man head and then I'll move it onto something else in a movie poster, and then fiddle around with the text on the movie poster or something for like the accountant. So yeah, I have used AI sparingly in different things, but as far as like writing things for me, no. I have had it blasted several times on my browser, like, would you like to use AI in your email composition? Like, no. I will own my own mistakes and I will write my own words. Thank you very much. The art form that I hold the highest in my own little world is my writing ability, and I don't really feel comfortable abrogating that over to a machine. I just don't.
For me, long-form writing feels arduous.
Yeah, well, imagine if you practiced more and didn't cut corners with AI. I know, it's crazy what happens if you work towards mastering something versus taking a shortcut.
And I use Copilot to generate first drafts of everything from emails to project plans and even blog posts. How
sad.
I'm never starting from a piece of blank page ever again.
That is, I'm sorry, that is not a mark in your favor.
Then this is supposed to be fun. Make sure you're using AI in your personal life too. You can use AI for meal planning, generating your new workout routines, or even reading a bedtime story for your kids.
Let's just continually take the human element out of managing a human life. Okay.
The goal of this step is to build AI habits. Start using AI in your day-to-day.
The goal of this step is to make the work that I am doing as an individual, standing on this stage promoting a particular product and industry, more valuable. Because this is a sales pitch. Don't pretend that you're being so altruistic here. This is not to anyone's benefit ultimately than you, in the collateral sense.
Next is to iterate and improve.
Iterate and improve by constantly using something to do the work for you? Okay.
Research also show there's a positive correlation between AI usage and the number of experiments people do.
The number of experiments?
This step is learning how to play with your prompts and see how it changes.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fun little gimmick that I would not want to have to rely on in a career or professional setting. Because what if I get caught out someday without AI? Then what happens?
For instance, on the last cold, rainy Boston Sunday we had this weekend, I had a few friends over.
Did you play AI games?
And I used AI to generate 10 ideas of activities we could do.
Rather than just... Again, that sounds sad to me. You have a bunch of friends over and you can't come up with something on your own knowing your friends as you do, or have something interesting you want to share with your friends as an activity or something. Okay.
I then went in, added a budget. I also went in and then added some mutual interests that we all have as a group.
Because you needed AI to... Okay. I'm not being facetious here. So in all sincerity, this sounds sad to me.
And as I kept changing the prompts, the results kept changing.
You don't say.
In your workplace, this could look something like when AI generates a first version of text for you. Ask it to rewrite it.
Why don't you rewrite it? I mean, it's bad enough that you're having it write a draft at all for you, but now that it's giving you something to work with, why don't you go to the effort of revising it?
For an executive decision maker.
If you're using AI to draft and then revise documents, you're not an executive decision maker, despite whatever the title is on the outside of your door.
Or ask it to rewrite it, maybe for a skeptical CFO.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. You're writing it for a particular audience. Oh, okay. Why don't you write it for a skeptical CFO? What happens if the CFO in person asks you to expand on the thoughts and points you made in your report and proposal to them? What are you going to say? Call me cynical. Call me irresponsible. Yeah, this is not. This isn't cracking my shell.
Or maybe summarize it into a haiku.
Summarize it into a... Look, she's not even taking herself seriously on this. Summarize it into a haiku. Summarize something that you didn't write, you didn't draft, you didn't revise into a haiku, just for fun. Well, with a few keystrokes and, good.
Then the goal for this step is to keep iterating.
To keep writing small prompts to have an AI generate something different each time.
Keep experimenting. But as you do this, what you're doing is you're learning what works.
Is that what you're learning?
You're learning when Gen AI works, you're learning when it fails, and research on how to make your prompts better. You can play with your prompts, and as you learn how to prompt AI effectively, continue leveling up. Maybe you move from automating tasks to automating entire workflows.
Yeah, I mean, well, why even show up to work at the first place? Just, hit a button and you're done. Find that exact perfect series of prompts to do your job every day. And before you know it, you better hope you don't get caught, because then your boss will be like, what do I need you for?
One of the workflows I've automated is how I gather news from different sources of information.
And you trust AI to aggregate that information into something usable?
And summarize that for myself every morning.
So you have put the information you consume willfully through a filter that is automated and includes biases that you know exist because mostly men are involved in AI, but that's good enough for you to have an understanding of the world rather than reading it for yourself and making up your own mind. Okay. I mean, hey, it's a free country.
Next is nurture and elevate. This step is all about making sure you're elevating others as you rise.
And by others, do you mean women?
Don't do this alone.
You are not alone.
Make sure you're sharing your wins. Now that you've mastered your prompts, create a document, call it Steal My Prompts, and share it with everyone on your team.
Hey, everybody, you can cheat just like I do. You can devalue your own skills and possible learned experience just like me. I'm a leader.
Ask them to add in their favorite prompts too. Share your AI wins with others around you. On WhatsApp, on LinkedIn, maybe even your family text thread.
Sure. Spread it like a virus, almost.
What you're doing as you do this is you're making the use of AI more visible. and making these tools appear more accessible as well.
And you're helping my business model as an AI expert.
And what you're doing when you show them how you can create entire mobile apps from just natural language prompts is you're also showing others around you that AI is not just for technical people.
Yeah. It really does dumb down everything around you, doesn't it?
And these may not seem like big steps.
Oh no, they are big steps away from personal creativity and legitimacy, you know.
But in combination, these small steps can help create ripples that can turn into waves of
I agree. I agree with that statement.
AI transformation.
Yeah, no, I
When you
agree
leave
with
here today,
that.
in the spirit of simple, small steps, I want to challenge you to take one action. Share what you've learned, try a new AI tool, or mentor a colleague and help them get into AI.
Yes, be an evangelist for the thing in which I am making a career out of. For free, please.
The AI revolution is happening, with or without us.
And isn't that comforting?
Let's make sure it happens for all of us. Thank you.
Whether you like it or not, it's coming. All right. So that was The Wonderful World. Let's see. Let me update this and get to that and share that and put that here. And then is that gonna do the thing and the stuff? It does. All right. So here's the bingo card as I have it right now, guys. I'm gonna go for it one more time by myself. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, hold on to them. I'll get to you momentarily. Systemic or institutional? I mean, she said it was, well, I mean, it is a system. And she did talk about institutions adopting it and so on. Yeah, okay. It was close enough for horseshoes and hand grenades, as they say. So circle in that one. Childhood or family anecdote? I don't think she ever mentioned her childhood or her family. I don't recall that she did. Microaggressions or unconscious bias? She did talk about bias in AI, conscious or otherwise, so, and that women would be there to eliminate it, so circle on that one. Privilege, not specific. I know the argument might be, oh, well, men use AI more than women, so obviously they have a privilege. But that's more of a choice. I need something that's actually a privilege or something you can derive privilege from. Contradicts own point, fails to make argument. Yeah, contradicts her own point. Women are fearful of what AI might do. They're hesitant to use it after she just told us why they should fear AI in the first place, as it is coming after specifically their jobs and careers. Patriarchy. Well, in this case, yes, because men are obviously the dominant force in AI, and they're a boys' club, and they are setting the tone for everything. Have I hit another bingo while I've been sitting here talking about it? No, not yet. Okay. We already got that line all filled up. White supremacy. She didn't talk about race. Word salad. I never felt like it was just babble for the sake of babble. So, self-vilification or wretchedness. Not that I noticed. Weightless example or non sequitur. Not sure. Maybe the statistics? I don't know. Benevolent condescension. Well, I mean, was she being condescending to women, or is she just being encouraging, even if the encouraging part is questionable? I don't know. Anecdote that probably never happened. I don't know if she gave us any anecdotes. Leaves out vital context. I'm sure there is. I think my brain is starting to depart me at this point. It might be the TEDx, it might be the Pepperjack. Either way, that's the card I'm going to leave it. If you have arguments for squares to be circled, put them in the chat now. Get as much XP as you can. Advocatus Diaboli, she left out vital context, though she hinted at it. Men just see AI and say, let me play with this. Women feel the need to be taught it. I don't know that she... I think that was pretty explicit. I mean, that specific interpretation might not have been brought across, but for all intents and purposes, she said, men are comfortable with AI, women need to be coaxed. I don't think she left that out. I think that was part and parcel. Simon Wilkins, just made a haiku out of the walk I will do. Well, there you go. And that was a haiku in and of itself, wasn't it? Abdicatus, learning is a broader term that includes all of your experience. Student implies formal tradition education. It is an attempt to decolonize education, I assume. Yeah, it just feels awkward when I hear people say it or I read it used in an article or something. Our learners. You mean your students? It just, yeah, learners sounds a bit more, yeah, like you say, a little bit more cultish or something. Chicago Mike, how many people in chat are really AIs? I don't know. But Tandemar has already confessed. Tandemar is an AI. Should we use an AI on the bingo card? Hey, for all you know, I'm an AI. Huh? Could that ad be any more transparent? Probably not, Yvonne. I mean, unlike the previous TEDx, this is a distinct sales pitch. Please, oh please, start using the derivatives of my product more. Toot sweet, she stopped counting. How disappointing. What happened to all the counting stuff? Is that our non sequitur? The counting thing? Frosted Glass, benevolent condescension. She spoke to women like they're idiots. Plus, the suggestions she gives are use it for a meal plan or read to a children's. You're right. You're right. You're right. You know, and also like just in general dumbing down the social experience of knowing your friends and coming up with something to do. Like, oh, machine, do this for me because I have no ability to think of it myself. Yeah, so I'll give you that one. Let's see. Any other arguments or modifications thereof? Bridget. Student implies hierarchy. Learner implies equals. Does it? Maybe. I mean, it still means that somebody's having to learn something from someone else, which implies a hierarchy of mentor and mentee. I don't know. Angelverse. Learner is associated with learner drivers for me. Is that a golf reference? I don't know. Simon Wilkins. Could AI be used to make us see through plus signs? Could that ad be any more transparent? Okay. There you go. Thank you, Simon Wilkins. Appreciate it. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? Let's scroll up a bit. Found. Anecdote that never happened. Scribe said that he has dreamed forever. I dreamed forever? What? Derek Leroux, what was her argument? That women need to get into AI? She never did provide a solution on how to solve for this problem, how to get women involved in AI, or to not be fearful of AI or anything. I don't know. Daryl Dale, nope, we have too many bingos already. Too many bingos? Can we ever have too many bingos? I guess it's possible. Any other arguments for squares to be circled? Put them in the chat now. In the meantime, I will do a little advertising myself. Tomorrow, Friday, at 9:05 a.m. Pacific Time, noon 05 p.m. Eastern Time, unless something comes up, I will be on the panel for Midnight's Edge in the morning, where I'm sure we'll talk about all the new Hollywood stuff going on, the Mission Impossible box office, the Lilo and Stitch box office, probably other things going on in the Marvel Universe, Fantastic Four, other revelations about the reshoots going on, maybe some Superman rumors, who knows? It'll all be on Midnight's Edge in the morning, tomorrow morning, Friday morning. Also, a programming note, there will not be a Saturday stream this weekend. I am taking a trip with Sister Scribe to go visit our folks, my mother and my father, and that happens starting Saturday morning. We'll go out through the rest of the day, so I will not be here for the Saturday stream. I may, depending on how much energy I have, I may do a Sunday stream as a supplement. I will let you guys know as soon as I can on that one. Depends on how late we get back Saturday night and what I'm feeling like by then for Sunday morning. But I will let you guys know. And I'll likely let you know through the Discord server. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I have a Discord server. Would you like to... Wait a second. Where's the thing? There we go. I got to edit the invite link. They changed the whole UI on this thing. Would you like to join the Discord server? Well, if you'd like to join the Discord server, a link to the Discord server is in the chat right now. All you have to do is click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watched the stream, are not an AI bot, and have thus earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is AI. Just say, hi, AI, and I'll know that you watched the show. Let's see. Advocast Diaboli, privilege in the sense that AI, as she tells it, privileges men as of now. Ooh, that's true. They're taking advantage of it. They have an advantage that women don't. They have the privilege. Oh my gosh. You know what? I agree. There was a sense of privilege going on there. And with that, everybody, we might just have at least the last one for tonight.
I had a dog, and his name was...
What?
I had a dog, and his name was...
Bingo! Of course!
Bingo! We got a 1, we got a 2, we got a 3 bingos. Hey, a bingo! What is it? There you go, guys. Bingo, bingo, bingo. And with that... a bit over time than I thought, but otherwise, after 2 TEDxcellences tonight, double feature, we come to the close of the show. And at the close of the show, who's on the leaderboard of the XP rankings? At number 1 is Advocatus Diaboli with 225 XP. At number 2, as a tie, Keeverdam with 225 XP. And in the third place, Angelverse has superseded Mike R. with 150 XP, and tied for third place as well, JPS 47, Mike R, Toot Sweet, Found, You're Ridiculous Lunatic, Zero the Hero 909, let's see, Derek LaRue, Chicago Mike, Miranda Stone, Daryl Odell, who else is there? Simon Willikins, Frosted Glass, Mumpor. Oh wait, no, sorry, Frosted Glass and Mumpor, you don't rank in the 150 XP slot, so there's a whole bunch of people tied for third place, and only 1 and 2. This ranking system is ridiculous, and there you go. Frosted Glass, you missed 2 of my arguments. Did I really miss them? I don't know if I missed them. But okay. She started by saying more women need to be in AI. There's too many men. DEI. Yeah. All right. No. I'll grant you that is one of those... well, I mean, I was waiting for her to give us a DEI solution, I suppose, but all right. I'll grant you that. All right, and if we can't upset Frosted Glass. You missed my leaves out context argument. Okay, well, hold on. Just repost it, dude. You did it twice. You missed my leaves out context. Jeez, Louise, scrolling. Okay, she never mentioned more men are in AI because men are more likely to be interested in it, not some patriarchy. But she wouldn't say that because that would defeat her sexism argument. Does that mean she left out vital context? I mean, I understood what her argument was implying. That still leaves out vital context? I mean, she already had her conclusion for the sake of her presentation. I don't know. Advocates daily. I would agree with that one. That isn't far from what I argued. Well, see, now you're just biased. I mean, well, okay, well, I'll grant you this. She didn't even bother to provide an explanation as to why there was a disparity. Whether it was interest or her explicitly saying it was sexism, just that there was a disparity, and she didn't even try to explain it or likewise offer a solution to how to balance it if that was the problem. So, okay. All right. Okay. Little aggressive there. Little aggressive. Just calm down. Calm down. There you go. You have been heard, Frosted Glass. I hear you. Know that your voice has been considered. Everyone, thank you for joining me this evening. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though everyone here is so well behaved. You have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself, holy cow, you guys are generous, or specifically at the top of the chat box, guys, I am playing favorites here tonight because there's a bit of a deadline. Angela Arriaga's home-based business. She is just in need of a little bit more help ahead of... Okay, so let's see here. Let me check something here. I'm checking on this. Okay, so someone donated $20 during the course of this show. Thank you, Anonymous, who donated $20. A little bit closer. Just need a few extra dollars. I think about $100 more, and she's in the green zone between now and the end of the month. So if you guys do have the opportunity to donate, please do so. But even if you can't, if you can share that out on social media, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Hey, thank you for that. Thank you, whoever donated. And elsewise, everyone, I think I'm out of breath and I'm out of brain cells. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Be a scriber. And whatever this XP thing is, I hope you enjoyed it for whatever it was worth. Everyone, thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Hope your Friday is calm and productive. For those of you that have to deal with month-end stuff tomorrow like I do, I hope it all goes smoothly. And elsewise, everyone have a good Friday and weekend. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.